I want you to imagine if the Irish state was run in the reverse way to the way that it is at the moment with regards to religion and atheism. Imagine if the preamble to our constitution began with the words, "In the name of atheism, we the people, acknowledging the non-existence of gods, do enact this constitution." Imagine if our presidents and judges had to swear an oath that began "in the absence of any gods" and that ended with the phrase, "May my atheism direct and sustain me." Imagine if our constitution included an article about atheism that began, "The state acknowledges that public praise is due to atheism. It shall hold atheism in reverence and shall respect and honour atheism." Imagine if our parliament started every day by reciting, "May our actions be directed by our atheism," so that every word and work of ours may always begin and end in atheism. Imagine if there was a law against publishing matter that is grossly abusive or insulting in relation to atheism, thereby causing outrage among a substantial number of atheists. Imagine if 96% of our primary schools were run with an explicitly atheist ethos. And I don't mean a neutral, secular ethos, I mean an explicitly atheist ethos where children are actively taught that there is no God and where that is permeated throughout the entire curriculum. Imagine if the United Nations Human Rights Committee repeatedly told us that that was infringing on the human rights of freedom of conscience of religious parents, and the state responded by saying, "Well, we've said it before and we might have some agnostic schools in the future." Imagine if our hospitals were run with an explicitly atheist ethos, with signs on the wall saying, "There is no God," and with atheist ethics committees, and with the danger of a dying patient being told that this is an atheist country. Imagine if the Equal Status Act and our Employment Equality Acts allowed atheist schools and hospitals and training colleges to explicitly discriminate on the basis of atheism in order to protect the atheist ethos of their institutions. Imagine if the state funded atheist chaplains in our schools and our hospitals and our army at a cost that could employ more teachers and nurses and doctors. Imagine if atheists were automatically allowed to solemnise state marriages, but religious people had to go through various political and legal tests in order to satisfy the state that they are suitable people to do so. Imagine if atheist groups were exempt from paying tax, and if the Charities Act included the advancement of atheism as a charitable purpose, but excluded the advancement of religion. Imagine if the default oath in our courts was that you were asked to swear as an atheist to tell the truth, and you had to openly object to that in order to avoid doing so. Imagine if the Juries Act exempted representatives of atheist bodies, but did not exempt representatives of the religious bodies from jury duty. Imagine if an atheist group that runs most of our schools had been found by various tribunals to be responsible for abusing children and covering up the abuse of children over decades. Imagine if an international atheist group to which that group was affiliated, that acted as if it was also a state, had been involved in moving atheists who were abusing children from country to country to avoid facing up to the legal responsibilities of their action. And imagine if our state continued to have diplomatic relations with that association and exchange ambassadors with it as if it were a legitimate state. Now that sounds outrageous, and it is outrageous. But it's just as outrageous in the current circumstances, where all of those things apply, but the other way around. Imagine if there was even one explicitly atheist school in Ireland, not a secular school, but an atheist school that explicitly thought that there was no God. Imagine that if even one set of religious parents were forced by circumstances to send their child to that school, we would never hear the end of it until it was resolved. But in Ireland, we have multiple times that discrimination continuing without anybody thinking that it's even a problem. Why do you believe that your religion is more important than our atheism? The state certainly shouldn't believe that. Thank you very much.